Taylor Swift, born on December 13, 1989, in Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, had no idea that her small-town beginnings would one day be the backdrop for a global music empire. From a young age, Taylor showed a keen interest in music, and it wasn't long before her natural talent started to shine. By the time she was 10, she had already begun performing in local talent shows, and at 11, she sang the national anthem at a Philadelphia 76ers game. These early moments gave a glimpse of the potential that would eventually make her a household name. However, it wasn't just her singing talent that set Taylor apart. Her storytelling ability in her songs was already apparent. At just 12 years old, she began writing her own songs, drawing inspiration from her own experiences, including her childhood and the ups and downs of growing up. It wasn't long before Taylor's songwriting caught the attention of the music industry. In 2004, Taylor and her family moved to Nashville, Tennessee, the heart of country music, in pursuit of her dreams. It was a bold move, one that would prove pivotal in shaping her future. The Swift family made significant sacrifices to make the move, but it was a decision that would forever change Taylor's life. Nashville's honky-tonk bars, country music radio stations, and industry professionals provided the fertile ground where Taylor's talent could truly bloom. At just 14 years old, Taylor was signed by Big Machine Records, a relatively small label at the time. This was a turning point for the young singer-songwriter. In 2006, at the age of 16, Taylor Swift released her self-titled debut album, Taylor Swift. The album was a blend of traditional country with a pop-leaning twist, and it featured heartfelt songs that spoke to the emotions and experiences of adolescence. Singles like Tim McGraw, which was inspired by a high school relationship, quickly resonated with fans and set the stage for her rise in the country music scene. The song was a breakout hit, making Taylor a name to remember in country music. It wasn't just her lyrics that made her stand out, though. Her ability to connect with her audience, especially young listeners, was unparalleled. Taylor Swift's music told stories that felt personal and relatable, yet they had universal themes of love, heartbreak, and personal growth. Following the success of Tim McGraw, Taylor released Teardrops on My Guitar, which further solidified her place in the country music world. The song climbed the charts and became a fan favorite. Taylor's authenticity and her willingness to be vulnerable in her lyrics made her an immediate favorite among fans. She was different from the other country artists of her time. Her songs weren't just about love and loss. They also touched on the struggles of being a teenager and finding your place in the world. By 2007, Taylor Swift had achieved significant success for someone so young. She received her first nomination for a Country Music Association (CMA) award and won several others. But despite her growing fame in the country music industry, Taylor was still just getting started. In the same year, she released her sophomore album, Fearless. This album marked the beginning of Taylor's evolution as an artist. Fearless was more than just another country album. It was a perfect blend of country, pop, and rock influences, a sound that Taylor would continue to refine throughout her career. The album's success was unprecedented. It catapulted her from being a country music star to a mainstream phenomenon, thanks to hits like Love Story and You Belong With Me. Love Story was a massive success inspired by Romeo and Juliet, but with a happy twist. The song quickly became an anthem for young love and was a chart-topping hit. Fearless earned Taylor Swift her first Grammy Award for Album of the Year, and the success of the album cemented her place as a true musical powerhouse. She became the youngest artist in history to win the coveted title of Album of the Year. The accolades kept coming, and as Taylor embarked on her first headlining tour, it was clear that she was well on her way to becoming one of the biggest stars in music. However, it wasn't just the awards and hit singles that made Taylor Swift stand out. It was her relationship with her fans. Taylor's social media presence was unique for the time, allowing her to connect with her audience in a way that no artist had done before. Her fans, dubbed Swifties, felt like they knew Taylor personally, and this sense of intimacy only fueled her popularity. Taylor's ability to engage with her fans and share her life, music, and thoughts on a personal level played a crucial role in her rise. She had a unique connection with them that went beyond just the music. Whether it was replying to fans on Twitter or holding intimate meet-and-greet sessions, Taylor knew how to make her supporters feel special. But with the fame and success came the inevitable challenges. As she grew older and her career continued to soar, Taylor began to face criticism. The media was quick to criticize her relationships and her personal life, often focusing more on her love life than her music. In the face of this, Taylor stayed true to herself, using her experiences to fuel her songwriting. The struggles she faced in the public eye only added more layers to her music, making it even more relatable to her growing fan base. By the time Taylor Swift released her third album, Speak Now, in 2010, she was no longer just a country music star, she was a global phenomenon. The album showcased her growth as both a songwriter and an artist, with Taylor taking the reins as the sole writer of every song on the record. Speak Now was a perfect blend of heartfelt country storytelling and the pop elements that were beginning to seep into her sound. Songs like Back to December and Mine showcased a more mature, reflective Taylor who had learned from her past and was now ready to step into the next phase of her career. With Speak Now, Taylor proved she wasn't afraid to evolve. While her country roots remained a strong influence, the album leaned more heavily into pop and rock influences. The success of Speak Now and its chart-topping singles proved that Taylor was a force to be reckoned with, not just in country music, but in the broader music world. The album sold millions of copies worldwide and earned Taylor even more Grammy Awards, solidifying her place in the pantheon of music's elite artists. But it was with her fourth album, Red, 2012, that Taylor truly made the leap from country princess to global pop sensation. Red was a bold departure from her earlier work, featuring a more eclectic sound that blended pop, country, rock, and electronic music. Songs like We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together and I Knew You Were Trouble introduced an entirely new side of Taylor. She had become more experimental with her sound, taking risks that would pay off in ways she hadn't yet imagined. The album's lead single, We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, was a massive success, marking her first true foray into the mainstream pop world. It was catchy, fun, and reflected a more mature, sassy side of Taylor. It was a departure from her country ballads, and it resonated with an even wider audience. For the first time, it felt like Taylor Swift was a crossover artist, no longer confined to the country genre. Red marked the moment where Taylor's transition to pop was undeniable. The album became a global success, and it was evident that she had cultivated a diverse and devoted fan base. With this new pop sound came a new era for Taylor, one where she wasn't afraid to address more complex themes in her music, from heartbreak to fame, and even her struggles with public scrutiny. This new era brought with it a new Taylor, a more confident and self-assured woman who was no longer just a country singer but a versatile pop star. However, as she embraced pop, Taylor also faced increased scrutiny from the media. Her relationships, which had always been fodder for tabloids, now seemed to be under even more intense scrutiny. Yet, rather than letting the negativity affect her, Taylor used it as fuel for her music. Songs like Blank Space from her 1989 album, released in 2014, were a direct response to the public's portrayal of her love life. In Blank Space, Taylor cheekily acknowledged her reputation as a serial dater, transforming the narrative into an empowering statement about reclaiming control over her own image. 1989 marked a complete break from her country roots and solidified her place as a pop superstar. The album, named after the year she was born, was a bold, synth-heavy homage to the 1980s, complete with catchy pop anthems like Shake It Off and Bad Blood. 1989 was a commercial juggernaut, debuting at #1 on the charts and producing several hit singles. Shake It Off, in particular, became an anthem for anyone who had ever faced criticism or negativity, and it became one of Taylor's signature songs. The album was a critical and commercial success, earning Taylor her second Grammy for Album of the Year, making her the first woman to win the prestigious award twice. The success of 1989 also marked the beginning of a new chapter for Taylor in terms of her public persona. She became known not just for her music, but also for her ability to create cultural moments. Her squad, her group of famous friends, including models, actresses, and other musicians, became a fixture in the media, contributing to her reputation as a fashion icon and a media mogul. Yet, it wasn't just her music and celebrity friends that defined this era of Taylor Swift. The 1989 era was also characterized by Taylor's shift toward taking more control over her narrative. She started to use social media to speak directly to her fans, sharing personal moments, political opinions, and engaging with her followers in a way that no other artist had before. Taylor was no longer just a singer. She had become a brand, and she was in full control of it. In the years following 1989, Taylor Swift continued to evolve. With Reputation, 2017, she returned to the scene with a darker, edgier persona. The album, marked by songs like Look What You Made Me Do and Delicate, reflected Taylor's response to years of media scrutiny, feuds, and public misinterpretations of her character. Reputation showcased Taylor's evolution as an artist willing to push boundaries and experiment with darker themes and sounds. It was a reinvention, and it was clear that Taylor was no longer the sweet country singer who once sang about love and heartbreak. She had grown into a powerful force in the music industry, with a voice that couldn't be ignored. As the years went on, Taylor continued to break records, reinvent herself, and prove that she was more than just a country artist. From Fearless to 1989 and Reputation to Lover, 2019, Taylor Swift had gone from a country princess to a global superstar. Each album was an evolution, each tour an opportunity for her to connect with her fans on a deeper level. She had created a legacy, one that will continue to inspire artists, fans, and future generations for years to come.